Welcome to July's newsletter from Safe Haven Homeschooling. So good to be with you again this month. I do a monthly newsletter and I also send out things throughout the month that I think you might be interested in. Well, this one is the newsletter. This was the big one. This one is for July. And I'm in Waco, Texas now. We were in Ohio for 3 years. We are from Ohio, but we lived in Texas for 10 years. We lived in Houston. And then we were back in Ohio for 3 years, and now we're back in Texas, but we're in Waco this time. And in Waco, we have found some very fun things to do. And so I included some of those in this month's newsletter. And you'll get to see some pictures of the silos at Magnolia because we got to go there. Didn't really know too much about them before we went because we hadn't really watched the show or anything. I've heard of Chip and Joanna, of course, but I didn't really watch the show. Never really had that kind of TV. But we had I had a friend who was coming into town, and she lives in Austin, and she texted me and said, "We're coming there to see the silos. Do you want to go there with us?" And I looked on the map and saw that it was like 10 minutes away from where I live. And I said, "Sure." And I said, "Come on, Gary, let's go to the silos." So we went and we had a good time. And so I've got some nice pictures that we took while we were there at Magnolia Silos. And we got some good stuff from the bakery. I did anyway. And then just yesterday, we went to see the tallest bottle of Dr. Pepper. Believe it or not, that is what we went to see downtown Waco. And there's a museum, Dr. Pepper Museum there. And I'm going to try to get a picture of all of us if my son and daughter-in-law will share it with me, because they went with us. Sean and Brandy went with us to see the giant Dr. Pepper bottle in the museum. We didn't pay to go into the museum, but we went into the gift shop, and it was hot there too. It was hot at the silos. It's hot at the Dr. Pepper bottle and museum. It's cool inside the museum and the gift shop, but it's hot out there by the bottle. It's hot in Texas. No getting away from that, is there? It was hot in Houston. It's hot here in Waco. Waco is like 2 hours from Houston, 2 hours from Austin, 2 hours from Dallas, 2 hours from, I don't know if it's 2 hours from San Antonio, but it feels like it's 2 hours from everything. 2 hours from my grown kids who live in Houston and Huntsville. Sean and Brandy live in Huntsville, and it's a little bit closer than the other environs of Houston where the other kids live. So I wrote about what we saw with the Dr. Pepper bottle, the numbers 10, 2, and 4. If you don't know what those mean, why 10, 2, and 4 are written on the label of Dr. Pepper, you'll have to read down below, read the newsletter. But I'm giving you this little summary of what is in the newsletter so that you don't have to take the time to read it all. If you don't have the time, or just have gotten to the place where you don't read anything, you only watch videos. And so I talked about the 250th birthday of America almost being here. And at the time you see this, it might already be the 4th, because that's this coming Saturday. And today I'm recording this on Sunday, June 28th. And I just realized yesterday when I was talking to my daughter-in-law about something else that's going to be in the newsletter, the movie Young Washington. It starts on July 3rd, and it's going to be in theaters on the 4th, and I might go there. And I was inviting them to go with us on the 4th. I was like, yeah, it starts on the 3rd, and I looked at the calendar. The 3rd is this Friday, and the 4th is Saturday. So we are very close to the 250th birthday of America. And I wrote about the prophetic significance of our nation having a special birthday, and our leaders celebrated it by reading the Bible out loud for a week in Washington, with our president actually reading 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their sin and call on me, and how does the rest of it go? I will hear their cries and heal their land. And so for the president of our country to read that is very, very significant. And then again, a few weeks later, our leaders rededicated our country to God. And again, our president read 2 Chronicles 7:14. So I believe our country is headed toward amazing times. So on the 4th of July, we celebrate freedom. And one of my favorite freedoms we have in our country is the freedom to homeschool. Not every country enjoys this freedom. So I'm especially grateful that I live in this country, and I was able to peacefully and confidently homeschool all 10 of my children without fear. So this is actually written in my newsletter. This story sums up how I feel about this sacred freedom that we enjoy here in America. Here's the story. On the morning of the 4th of July, the house woke slowly. Sunlight slipped through the curtains, and somewhere down the street, a flag rustled in the breeze. The children padded into the kitchen, barefoot, still sleepy, still small enough that the day felt full of promise rather than plans. On the table sat a stack of well-worn books, a spiral notebook, and a box of colored pencils, ordinary things easily overlooked. Yet today they felt quietly sacred. Outside, neighbors were already hanging bunting and stringing lights. Fireworks would come later. Speeches, songs, and history lessons would be shared in town squares and on television. But here in this home, freedom showed up in quieter ways. It looked like a mother pouring coffee while listening to a child explain a new idea. It sounded like laughter breaking out in the middle of a lesson because curiosity had taken a joyful detour. It felt like the deep peace of knowing that learning could unfold in a way that honored each child's pace, passions, and personality. 250 years ago, people risked everything for the idea that families should be free to worship, free to speak, free to live according to conscience rather than command. They could not have imagined laptops or library cards, nature journals, or kitchen table classrooms, but they understood something timeless, that freedom thrives best when it is lived out in homes. Homeschooling in its simplest form is an act of gratitude. It is saying, we recognize this gift and we will steward it well. It is choosing to shape our days intentionally, to pass on not just information, but values, faith, responsibility, compassion, courage. It is teaching children that liberty is not loud or reckless, but thoughtful and rooted in love. And watch parades. They will hear stories of courage and sacrifice. They will hold sparklers at dusk, their faces glowing as tiny stars fizz into the summer air. And woven through it all will be an unspoken understanding that the freedom they are celebrating is the same freedom that allows them to learn at this table, in this home, with these people. Tonight, when the fireworks burst overhead, their colors will fade quickly. But the freedom to raise our children, to educate them according to our convictions, and to shape a family culture of faith and gratitude, that endures. 250 years in, America's story is still being written. It is written in classrooms and courtrooms, yes, but also in living rooms, on back porches, and around kitchen tables. It is written every time a parent chooses presence over pressure, curiosity over conformity, and gratitude over fear. And on this 4th of July, as flags wave and songs are sung, we give thanks not only for a nation born in courage, but for the quiet daily freedom to raise our children in love. That is a liberty worth celebrating. So that is a little story to help convey to you how I feel about homeschooling, how I feel about the freedom to homeschool, and the amazing opportunity and freedom that we have in the United States of America, and how thankful I am for all of those things. And I went on to talk about some activities you can do for the 4th of July. I have created a few things, and I have them in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. One is for kindergarten to 2nd grade. It's a 4th of July activity pack that has colonial life coloring pages and revolutionary figures coloring pages. Meet George Washington and colonial soldiers, patriotic symbols, freedom and independence, simple stories and activities. There's a funny sound coming from the kitchen. Matching activity pages, word searches, and crossword puzzles. And I also made an ultimate 4th of July activity bundle that has scavenger hunts. There's pre-themed scavenger hunts in here. One, you can have use it for a backyard barbecue hunt, scavenger hunt, or you could use the next one for a parade. At a parade, you can have your kids look for the things that are in this parade scavenger hunt. Or if you're teaching somewhere, and I know it's kind of different in the summertime, but you might have a class, even like a Sunday school class picnic or something, a classroom hunt. So there's also in this big bundle of 4th of July resources that I put together, there's a U.S. President's Trivia game, a 4th of July fact or fiction game, Finish the Patriotic Lyrics game, and then that also has a game show version that you could use to make it interactive group play. That would be a lot of fun. Score sheets and bonus challenge pages, completion certificates, and parent-teacher instructions. This thing is just full of different things you could do. Those are just the scavenger hunts. There are also in this 4th of July celebration for the family, all ages. I have 6 products in there. It's a big bundle of, there's American history. There are 2 things about Thomas Paine and the sayings of Thomas Paine that include some copy work that you could do. It includes a 4th of July activity bundle that I just talked about. And it includes the K through 2, the kindergarten through 2nd grade activity book, and a 4th of July planner. So those are all in here in the newsletter, and links to those things. One thing I want to do to celebrate the 4th of July, America's birthday and our freedom, is to go watch Young Washington at the theater. It is in theater starting July 3rd. And the website describes the movie this way. Before he was the father of a nation, he was a soldier fighting to survive. A single misstep thrust young George Washington into the center of a global conflict, testing his honor, loyalty, and courage. As alliances crumble and the frontier erupts into war, he must confront not only his enemies, but the man he's becoming. This is the untold story of young Washington. And I give the website there that you can find the show times in your area and go see it. And then I have a recipe for the 4th of July. 4th of July fruit kebabs. that involves watermelon and fresh blueberries. And that looks really good and easy. And then you can make a cream cheese dip for those. And they're very colorful and fit right in with patriotic theme. And then I have some freebies here, July and the 4th of July and butterflies. You need to check out my new beautiful website called Butterfly Books that has tons of butterfly books listed. And it's such a neat site. And so I have links there. I have a shirt that I made in my Printify shop that says on the front cover, on the front of the t-shirt, it says "We pray in school," and has praying hands on there. And on the back, it says "Homeschoolers of America." It has a flag and eagle on it, and it's a really cool looking shirt. So you might want to check that out. I've got the link there. And wear it for the 4th of July and before and after and all through the year. And then I have a whole collection of patriotic decor and apparel at my Amazon store, my new Amazon store, which I'm so proud of and so excited to have. I have some stickers, I Love America, and a shirt that has the same design, I Love America, from Paula Kohanek, that you can get here with free shipping. And I talked about this amazing woman named Allison Heron. I just found her, and she talks about trauma and the nervous system, a polyvagal perspective. And I just gave a little bit of an explanation of what she teaches about neuroplasticity and getting healing from chronic anxiety, illness, pain, and fear through music, through singing and dancing and saying the right words as you're doing these things, replacing those lies and those ways of that you have been kind of programmed to think with what is true and what is biblical and what God says about you. So I've got a little bit on there. Faith Squared Music is their website, and where you can find them on YouTube. So those links are here too. There's a playlist on YouTube that I've been going through and dancing and singing with it. I've only got the first 4 that I'm pretty well have the moves down. That part's hard, but singing is the easy part for me, but dancing and getting those moves right is not so easy. But my daughter-in-law Brandy did it with me, and it was like she already knew the moves. She was like doing those things. I was like, with kindness and compassion, I accept. And she was just like, so it was so easy for her. It was so hard for me when I first started. I've been doing it for like 2 weeks, and I pretty much have it memorized. She just did it right from the very beginning. That's how she is. She's good at that. And I should put her jewelry, some of her jewelry in here sometime. She makes jewelry and sells it. I mentioned that I do coaching, and I've got the link for coaching. Actually, this behind me, the basics of learning and homeschooling, is the course that I would be coaching you through if you wanted to do that. And it would be 10 weeks because there's 10 modules in the course, and we would go through the course together on Teachable. And we would meet every week and talk about what you're learning and what you're doing in your homeschool. And that would be fun. I would love it if you would sign up for coaching with me. I'm also tutoring on Zoom, and I have a lot of experience with that. And then I have my Calendly link here. You can book a call with me, a 15-minute call. And I have, you can pass on my newsletter to someone else that you think might want to read it. I work hard on these newsletters. I have a lot of good stuff in there, and I hope that you are benefiting from my newsletters, and come back next month to August newsletter. The sun is doing wild things here. Come back next month in August when I talk about a funny birthday story, since next month is birthday month, both for me and my youngest daughter. And that's what the story will be about, something that happened with her. I'm kind of blinking brightly and then not so brightly. Okay, but that is what the newsletter says this time. Make sure you do scroll down and click on some of those links. And I appreciate you being in Safe Haven and enjoying what I have here to offer. And thank you for watching and reading. And I'll see you next month.